crowd are loving that. 3 versus 3 already made himself a nice bit of money, but in the meantime, the A site has come over to the T side. They're going to get those after plant positions, and this is going to be a retake scenario. Arch does have himself a kit, though.
The guys from GODSENT are going to be in great positions to hold this in a post-plant scenario, but Arch could be the kingpin that starts to rotate this in the other direction. Pronax getting some good damage on the one of them as they try to push their way back in through connector, and we can see Philin getting himself through there as well, but Lekro finding the first kill. Crush responds on one of his own. Now Philin coming in on the flank, trying to connect the hit, but he's not going to be able to fully take Lekro down. The peak comes out, Twist finds the frag, Crush coming in to refrag it, but not going to be able to do it. Twist goes out both of those final kills, and it will be GODSENT that claim the first round.
Yeah, 3 kills for Twist in that round, finding the entry, and if he'd gone down early from that initial push, it could have been a completely different round, but anyway, it is going to be the first round going to the T side, so off to a great start, and here comes the knife. Very quick movement from Crush to find that one, and Palf's just not able to escape.
And with that, getting into round number 2 here now, usual investment coming in from GODSENT, as they're going to be picking up 3 AKs, 2 SMGs, one of them going to be a P90. Twist, quick outside of the T ramp, but Arch also going to be fast on his own response, able to take Twist right back out of the equation. Maybe get an even 4-on-4, but Arch is also going to be able to recover a rifle. That's going to be a good shot from Philin. Looking for more. It's holding back GODSENT for now, but both of them come leaping over. Lekro and Powell find 2 more kills, but Lekro finding that shot simple. He's got no armor, so the aim punch is going to be brutal against him. And Schneider will close it out with a P90 kill.
Yeah, Lekro finding 2 trades in the meantime, just to make things a little bit more even for that T side and making things easy in the end. So just Pistol's going to be in for worse players. Of course, they are starting on the favored side of the map, but they need to get rolling quickly, because we know that if GODSENT are playing confidently and are playing with all their players on point, they are actually a force to be reckoned with. They've taken down Mouse Sports in the past. They gave Nip a really good run for their money, so they are a team to be reckoned with here. But straight mid aggression, we're going to see the B stack coming in from the CT side. Just going to play this one calmly and hope that the T's go their way. One player over towards that A side, just being a spotter, and that's actually going to be simple with the 5-7.
And they're not going to be peeking at all to watch for a cat push. They're just going to take this all on the site. You can see it now as we turned off the X-ray. Members of GODSENT aren't going to be able to spot anything, and there we go. Twist, nice hold off though. He isn't surprised by that one. Arch and Philin respond with 2 of their own kills, but right now it's still in the favor of GODSENT as Lekro just traded back, and I think they're actually going to call off this hit. Nicely done by Simple. He peeks right outside of the rack corner on the left, takes Lekro down, and they're going to try to chase them. They won't be finding anything. GODSENT will now move inside of the B bomb site. However, worse players now scavenging 2 guns. Arch and Simple having an AK and a UMP. Not only this as well, but there comes Schneider. He's going to be able to get himself in a good position just outside of the murder hole. Takes down Arch, Simple, and finally Palf on the flank. Eliminates Crush. So GODSENT do manage to maintain it, but that's some great damage done by worse players when you consider the buy they had going.
Yeah, it was about $500, $800 invested in that round. Absolutely nothing to play with there, and a little bit worrying for GODSENT considering how things went. You can see the crowd there clearly in the favor of the worst players for this one, but they are still cheering for the opposition on occasions. We saw VP get some love yesterday.
That's actually that's a really cool camera for anybody that's wondering how we're getting those shots. I don't know if Sidicus or Henry mentioned it yesterday. I think people saw it on the stream. It was that UFO that you kept seeing fly behind the casters. That's we actually have a spider cam here. It's like one of the football cameras that's on a wire flying above the arena. It's pretty cool.
Of course, we are in the Dynamo Kiev Stadium as well, so it sort of makes sense. It's a nice little camera though, but we do have the full buy coming in now. Not actually ideal for the CT side. They don't have a huge amount of utilities to play with. The AWP is on Simple though, and this is a factor in itself. However, Twist is going to be the opposing AWP player, a sort of JW style of play, very aggressive on occasions and likes to take those peaks, and you can already see him pushing up towards the short area, looking for that kill onto Simple, and he's going to find it. One more player next to him though, and Crush instantly going to trade, so a 4 versus 4 scenario. Nades in the favor of GODSENT at the moment, and they have also got now another kill as well. Pronax finding Crush.
GODSENT taking their time about things, much more restraint than we saw yesterday from these players, and it's paying off big time. So far, they do have the advantage in the first gun round. No map control being gained as of yet, though. They're mostly still stuck at the top of middle and now crossing back over through T-spawn. It does look like they're going to try to shift this into an A hit. However, at the same time, Pronax will be looking to make some noise towards B to keep the players there stationary.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult hold from the remaining players. However, we do have Arch in the corner at the moment, and he may be able to find this. He's very, very aggressive. If he can find the first player towards ramp, he has a chance to switch around and just bring this back into a decent scenario. And here we go. Not expected. Arch going to take down one. He's able to push in and actually reclaim the ramp, and that's an important position. It can make this retake much easier if he doesn't get taken down. He finds another kill as well. Looking for the third. Not quite going to find it, but he does find it in the end. One player remaining. It's Pronax. He takes down Arch, but he's now got to deal with Fix and Philin. And he actually gets timed out. I didn't even notice the time. So Brilliant round coming out from Arch. Solo holding that site. And, well, I mentioned him at the beginning on this CT side. He's so very, very good at holding those angles.
Ultimately, at the beginning of that round there, it seemed like GODSENT wanted to take things very slowly. Works out good at the beginning because they do get the advantage, but later on in the round, they failed to get control of the A-bomb site fast enough. As you can see, they started that take with only 20 seconds left on the clock. So with Arch doing a great job of holding off the angles, as we can see, they're picking up 3 kills. He is going to be able to essentially stop that entire take on his own.
Brilliant stuff. Absolutely brilliant. That's something they need as well, because look at the economy already of GODSENT. We saw them go down to 2 players in the round before against pistols, and because of it, now they're back to pistols themselves. Of course, CT side still not on a full buy as of yet. The nades are lacking a little bit, and feeling he's going to have a lot to do here. The push coming in. Lekra going to find the first kill, and Crush is completely smoked out of position. Lovely smoke coming in, however, Simple on the retake going to be finding that first kill. However, the push is now coming in over towards the A site. Crush holding the cross, not quite going to be able to find. He does find Schneider, but one player has already gone through. Still a player over towards the site, but Twist will instantly take him down, and it's back to a 3 versus 3 weaponry in the favor of the CT side.
That smoke timing works out brilliantly. If that had not gone down there, we would have seen them just roll right into the site and stop this take from happening, but they've been able to hold it off. Pronax and Pauf leaping in through that smoke there, pick up 2 more kills for their team, leaving it all into the hands of Crush. He's got an easy way to get onto the site, but he's got to be able to find these kills. Twist is pretty far away from the action right now, but he will be moving back into the site. Flashbang comes out. I don't think they expect him to be this close, so he does have a bit of an advantage, but they can hear him, and he didn't check behind himself there, so they know he's standing there, and that's going to be an easy frag for Twist to find. End the round in the favor of GODSENT. They trade it right back, and that will reset the CT's economy.
Yeah, it looked like they had a good opportunity there, the CT side, to actually win that round. But as you said, the smoke timing was absolutely perfect to hold Simple out. Pronax then with the flank takes him down. And, well, we already mentioned that their economy itself wasn't great, and they only won 1 round. So because of it, they're now just forcing up to stop themselves, having to go for that double eco. And, wow, you can already see the amount gained from the T side. They managed to keep 3 players alive, pick up a couple of weapons as well. The AWP going to be back onto Twist. And, well, 4-1 up. This should be a relatively comfortable round for GODSENT.
And right now, just taking their time. Got a couple players stationed up towards the top middle, but worst players with the minimal investment they have, I doubt they're going to be doing anything very aggressive at all. In fact, they've just gone for the 4-man stack close to the A-bomb side. Arch, Villain, Simple, and Fix all posted here, waiting for there to be some kind of hit coming into this site. But if not, they'll all fall into the hands, I believe, Crush, to hold things closer to the B-bomb site. GODSENT, though, right now, posturing themselves up. Eyes on Connector. So it does look like they'll be moving into there as they start to molly off Cat, but also the smoke coming back in. It's maybe shifting now over to a B hit, but that flashbang's gonna slow things down. Bit of a mistake there, made by Twist.
Yeah, after the kills coming out from Ladder Room already in this game, they throw a Molotov straight in there. They don't want to take any risks, and you can see them checking every single angle, taking their time. They do not want to give anything, but look at the information play coming out from Arch at the moment. He's pushing all the way around the flank, and this is going to give so much to the A-site players. They may just start rotating already, although it is mainly mid-presence at the moment, and already we could look how far he's gone, already going all the way around into B-apps. They're slowly sandwiching the remaining players in. They know exactly where they are. However, the one player in Palace will actually blow this slightly out of proportion. Schneider could ruin this round, and there we go. Finally, 24 seconds left on the clock. We finally have the first entry of the round. Crush going to be on the site alone. If he can drop the bomb, if he can drop a couple of players, there's a definite chance they can do something in this round, and he's going to find the first. Crush with 1. Doesn't have many bullets left, has to reload. Going to find nothing else, and 2 quick kills coming in. However, the time is not on their side. The bomb's still yet to go down. Very little time left on the clock, and here we go. We're going to see the push coming in from Simple. He finds 1. If he can drop this bomb, it is all over. 1 second left on the clock. He will find a second. Pauf going to be the only one remaining. The rotation, it may just be too slow, but Simple doesn't hold the bomb. He goes for the kill. Going to be holding this one out.
That volley's not going to spread.
And he's going to get the defuse. Surely just about enough time. What a play from Simple, and those are the clutches we talk about.
And that volley had been a couple inches to the left. It would have been enough to be able to get him off the bomb, but no, not going to be the case. And Simple pulls off an incredible clutch, keeping the worst players in contention here and keeping this match very close.
That was a huge round as well, but again, GODSENT, you can already see they're pushing onto the site there with 15 seconds remaining. The bomb was only able to go down with 1 second left, and all it really was there was Simple just running in and taking down the players who were trying to defend that bomb. So great work from him. 3 kills. All he bought there was a 5-7 and armor. Their buy still isn't great. The T's are going to be buying back up, and there's a huge chance they could be reset again. The FAMAS is coming out. The AWP is back on Simple, but with no armor behind it. And already we see the push coming in, and Twist is going to be finding that first kill onto Arch.
It's a good peek from Twist, taking down one of them. Keep in mind that despite the fact that the Warriors players do win that last round, you can just see the money. It's definitely not going to be in a good place for these guys. 4 of them on M4s. One of them already going down. That's on Arch. And Simple with the glass cannon off by. presence of it's going to be enough to hold them back initially, but Crush pushing through middle there, finds a kill. That's not going to be much in the grand scheme of things. Fix finds a 1-for-1 trade. Pronax taking him back down, leaving it all into the hands of Philin and Crush. Nade's going to go in, unfortunately bouncing off of the firebox. So it's really not going to do all that much damage.
Yeah, they don't have any real utility left here. They don't have a kit, so it's going to be a very difficult retake if the bomb does go down. We do see the T's taking their time here. They don't want to lose any players in the meantime while they try and cross over to the site. And actually, we can see Pal's head just sticking out, but through the box only does 18 damage. That seems a little bit flawed, but we are going to see that push still on that A site. Yet to make the plant. The position from Crush is a good one. Could stop the push here. However, Twist already going aggressive. Something we will see throughout this game from him. If he stays on that AWP, is someone who's willing to drop it. Nice work there. No scope onto Crush. And now it's all down to Philin. We saw him step up yesterday, but it's not going to be the case here as Pal finishes him off. And just brilliant trading there coming out from GODSENT. They walk, they take the entry kill with Twist, and then from then on, they're just trading kills, and eventually they close down the remaining 2 players.
Yeah, not a whole lot left for Philin to do at the end of the day, closing out that round. So GODSENT do manage to retake their own advantage, and this is the nice replay. Simple again, moving out there with a clutch. Like we saw that Molly just a little bit off the mark. Would have allowed Schneider to force him off the bomb and maybe clutch up the round.
Well, this time it is the eco, and well, the only thing brought up there was the 1D, and the 1D is gone. And well, Twist actually getting pushed here, has to be a bit careful, missing quite a few shots, and Fix has a chance, but the Glock will finish him off, and a flawless round coming up from GODSENT. That's going to do wonders for their economy, and also they're already starting to build up quite a few T-sided rounds.
Leading the way right now, we can see Fix, who was a really big player, much more on the T side than the CT side, but still, granted, we saw some big performances from him over the past couple of days on the CT side as well. Currently sitting at 1-7.
And that's huge. That's huge for them because they really need him. Same with Philin. He was another player who really did step up yesterday. I'd say he was the MVP for them, although Simple did find a nice ace in the pistol round and actually brought it. I think it was something like 9 kills in 2 rounds, but I actually think it was a huge play from him. But here we go, Philin going to be finding the entry kill, actually finding himself an AWP as well. So of course this is the double eco scenario. They don't have a huge amount of cash invested into this round. The smoke's going to be raining out. Fix going to be playing in dark. Going to be trying to find something. Philin with that AWP could actually do some damage, and Simple would be the one to find the kill with the dig. However, 2 quick trades come back, and we are back into a favorable position for that T side, but they do need to reclaim that bomb. It's down in a horrible position. However, there goes the AWP, and now things should just be a cleanup, but Fix finding another one. Doing a lot of damage in these rounds, but damage may not be enough at this point because they are starting to lose this map.
Lekaro looking to slowly flank his way around to find Fix at a position, but he's just going to molly him out there. Actually, he doesn't molly him out initially. He's looking at another angle, and
that was
for whatever reason, that's going to allow Fix to find the kill on Lekaro. He throws the molly, but he doesn't even pay attention to it. So he kind of throws away his own life because of that, and now it's a 2v1 in the favor of worst players. Fix already finding the last mark here, brings Schneider down to 57 HP, but he's not going to be able to hold it on his own. Now down to the 1v1, the wild peek from Crush, but Schneider's going to hold strong. Takes it down, and that will be another round for GODSENT. But again, keep in mind of how much damage the worst players are doing just with these extremely light buys. Not even really bringing all that much to the table, but still are able to do massive damage, and this cannot be good for the T economy. As soon as we see a round picked up by the worst players, that has to destabilize things for the T side.
Yeah, they are just, it seems those aggressive sort of plays that they initially take are actually working very, very well for the worst players. The only problem is when they get onto the buy and play more passively, things seem to fall apart a little bit. So they are back. They have themselves more utility than they have done in the past. Still no Molotovs to slow down the pushes onto the A site, but at the moment it looks like the middle play will be coming in. We're going to see Simple holding with an AWP. He hasn't gone for any specifically aggressive peaks as of yet. The main round we've seen from him was with a 5-7. The AWP has yet to really make an impact, and that's another thing that really needs to come into effect here if they're going to be able to take this map.
For Lekaro, he's looking for an opening kill back over by the connector. They do have Arch sitting inside of there waiting, but not going to be able to catch him just as of yet. Again, the worst player is sticking to a fairly passive CT setup. Nobody's really gotten aggressive in the past few rounds. No presence even in the window. So the guys from GODSENT will be able to get easy control of the middle area. Now it's about getting beyond this and getting onto a site because they're not going to find any early kills.
Yeah, they are making their way over towards middle, just doing the boost to try and find themselves a pick. But as of yet, I haven't seen anyone, and well, the middle presence isn't really there from the CT side. They're just letting them take it, and it hasn't worked out so well for them so far. You are waiting to see Simple make some sort of trade. The Molotov is going to push them out of position. Arch's position is good. Again, he's going to find the first, looking for the second. Schneider will trade. has been the big player in this game so far for GODSENT, finding those trades, finding the clutches as well, but he's down to 2 HP, and that's already a decent start for the CT side. However, it does mean that the Ts can now gather up and push towards the site and have a significant advantage wherever they decide to go. However, we can see one player still on the site, Simple rotating over with that AWP. They need to smoke out the position. Otherwise, he may be able to take down one, and that's exactly what he will do. Positioning from Fix is a good one. He should be able to catch out Lekro, but no, the kill comes in, and he finds another one. Great stuff from Lekro, stepping up big in this round, and Twist will find one more, and Crush, he is left alone. He'll find one. 2 more players to find. One of them is on 2 HP. If he can find the second, Twist isn't even paying attention, but, well, I think he was blind, but Schneider will finish off that kill, and, well, Crush not quite spotting him out.
Schneider's been doing a great job as the rifle here, just making sure he constantly finds the refrags. These guys are always losing like 1 or 2 players on the entry, but I mean, Schneider I think is like the one piece of the puzzle that's just holding GODSENT together right now. Because he's constantly being able to move in and at the very least find these trades here and there, where previously it would have been double kills or triple kills even for members of worse players.
Yeah, it's a very important thing for their team to have at the moment, otherwise they could have lost numerous rounds. We've already seen a 1v2 clutch from him. But just throughout the game, it's sort of been, okay, they find a kill, Schneider trades every time. We haven't seen too much else. Obviously, Lekro there did a great job of finding a double, especially when he was low after the first shot. He's going to throw the nade in here and completely dunk out Villain.
Perfect
grenade. That is a brutal nade. And now, well, there isn't too much to play with here. Twist finding another kill with the AWP. They are just slowing things down yet again. And just such a bad economy at the moment for us players. They're managing to do most of the time more damage with the pistols, and when as said, when it comes to rifles, they really are having problems at the moment. And, well, the big man Simple, he's been doing much better with the 5.7 than he has with the AWP, which is worrying.
So, unlike some of the previous rounds here, where worse players are able to make a lot of impact on very little, this time it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to get that much at all. The nade starts it off pretty badly, and they follow it up. They actually bait a couple players out of their positions on the B-bomb site, and it's easy pickings for the members of GODSENT since they're not checking those alternate angles. Now leaving it just down on the Fix and Arch. They're not even really trying to be aggressive about this. They've just posted up inside of the back apartments, waiting to see if they can catch somebody exiting.
Of course, with Arch as well, he has that Kevlar and a CZ just to save into the next round. Doesn't have to buy that up. So a little bit of additional money they can save. I think they should be buying into the next one after this eco, because they have lost a few rounds in a row now. But, well, GODSENT, they're already showing up as we expected on this day. They're not going to be taking any liberties after Dobry dominated them yesterday, and they're already looking much, much better.
Absolutely. Like I said before, giving them time to reset after last night, realizing their mistakes. I've noticed that they were able to adjust to this stuff very, very quickly. And that is showing an effect here today versus the worst players.
Here we go, back into the round. The AWP again, back on Simple. Yet to really see any sort of aggression from him. It's all been passive play, and we are going to see a bit of a switch up here. He's now holding the A site. These are very passive positions, though. He's only really gone for window and the A site. Hasn't gone for any sort of information play or trying to take down the first player. And straight up, we're going to see just a grenade push onto this site. Simple is going to have to go massive here. He's got a few players rotating in. It's going to be Fix actually smoked out position, but there is a gap in it. Simple going to go down with no effect this round. Entry kill coming out from Lekro, but the position is decent here from Fix. Maybe able to finish off Pronex with the nade. It isn't going to quite reach him. It looked like it may have just done, but now he's down to 8 HP. And, well, it looks like they're just backing away, but look at Schneider's position. This is going to be horrific. Only going to find one. Luckily, Philin will trade, but they are just going to have to save, otherwise they would be on another eco in the next round.
Yeah, but that loss of Schneider seems like it's going to be the only kill that they end up losing. Pronex, though, might be walking into a hornet's nest. He doesn't even realize it. Fix is waiting for him around the corner as they fell back pretty quickly, and Ellen just safely mollied that back off. So, in fact, they do end up losing one additional player here from GODSENT's end, but despite the somewhat weak economy we're seeing from the T-set right now, I believe this can sort of be ignored just by the amount of rounds and the huge advantage they have over the worst players now as we get into the closing rounds of the half. There's going to be Lekro, though, who sneaks back in, finds another pickup. He's going to look for a third, and Philin, thankfully, is able to hold his own, so he responds. Drops one more player from GODSENT. But anyway, to finish my point, because of just how far ahead they are, they can sort of afford to have these losses coming in despite the somewhat weaker economy they're working with.
Well, I think also the fact is, as of recent, they have actually built up quite a bit of money. Just because, well, you can see 11K, 9K, they've won so many rounds in a row. And also the fact that the ecos or the pistol buys haven't been as effective as they were previously. So at the moment, they have actually got a decent amount of cash. They could afford to lose a couple of players in that scenario. But we are going to see the buy coming back in. Simple this time on a rifle, so no AWP. I actually don't mind that in this occasion because he hasn't had too much of an effect with it so far. which really has been detrimental to their Mirage play because the AWP is just huge. It's so big on that CT side. Need to see some aggression. I feel like one of the players I used to really enjoy seeing it was Carrigan when he used to just go anywhere around the map and just take down those kills. But we are going to see the push. The crowd's still trying to keep worst players' hopes alive. But this A play does look like it's about to be coming in. And, well, Fix playing up close. Arch alongside him. The bait play going to be switching. Actually, 3 players now over towards the B site. And if this push comes in soon, it could be horrific because there's only 2 players on A and there's nobody anywhere near a rotation position.
Lekro is also going to have a hard time getting himself into the B-bomb site, but that shouldn't matter because the actual take should go pretty successfully. Lekro actually finds his mark initially, so they're going to have no clue where this hit's coming from. They will now, though, as Arch popping up from Firebox. He's going to be able to grab 2. Simple picking up another one as well. Brings us into a 2v1, but now Simple is the last man alive, and the only reason he's still up and running is because he took down the player lurking over towards B. That's Lekro going down. And he's going to try to find his way into this site. Finds his way through Connector pretty easily. The molly comes in. That's going to force him out to the open. But nobody from the side of GODSENT is going to be peeking out to punish him. Now, working his way up on top of steps. Finds Twist out in the open, taking him down, punishing him for that. And it falls to Schneider. So far, he's been the great player at refragging and trading out these kills. But he's not going. He is going to be able to close out this round. As Schneider catches a mistake from Simple. Catches him jumping to look for information. But in fact, he does find his opponent. And with that, he's going to drop the round.
Those are the sort of positions where Simple is most deadly. You see him just come into his own, but this time Schneider is there to punish, and he has been the rock for this team in this game. Absolutely great performance from him. One of the stars of this lineup. Played with Pronax many a time, and well, he really has gone big today. So far, Mirage is looking strong, and if they play like this on Cobble, this could be a quick 2-0. Arch going to be pushing up mid. This is a bit more aggressive coming out. We're going to see a double kill coming in from him. He really has been the only player stepping up. You see Twist instantly take off his headset. Palf going to be finding a trade. So it is back to a 3 versus 4. The T side not out of this one just yet, but that was a nice play from Arch nonetheless.
Arch, that's an amazing aggressive push that he moves out towards, and it does some good damage. Palf is able to find a response as he catches him jumping. It's a good shot from him. But ultimately now, they're working from the back of this play. Since GODSENT are going to have very, very limited resources to actually get themselves into a site. Worst players, they split 2 for 2. So regardless of the site go for, if GODSENT all move in together, they will have a man advantage, but as the rotation comes in from those CTs, that's where it's going to get a little bit trickier here for worst players, or apologies for GODSENT now to actually hold on to control of a site.
The other thing to mention is Lekro and Schneider still standing. 2 players have been very good, well, with the entries and the trading of frags, so still a huge opportunity for them in this round. Palf isn't actually performing badly himself. I'd say at the moment he isn't one of the particularly heavy hitters in this game, but he should be able to step up in this scenario. It is 30 seconds left on the clock. They still seem undecided whether they're actually going to send that bomb. Schneider over towards A. The bomb's slowly rotating around, but there really isn't much time left on the clock. Getting down to 20 seconds, going to have to make their move very, very quickly. And already now we do see the bombs starting to speed up, but this is going to come right down to the wire. They need to find these kills super, super quick. And at the moment, Fix, he's just playing very, very passively. So they've got to make their move. Simple going to be pushing out. He finds the first, and this is surely going to be impossible now. They've got to go straight for the plant. Schneider, however, will find one. Not going to find the second. Palf now in a 1 versus 3. And I just don't think they bought themselves enough time to make that play properly.
The good news for Palf is they're all coming in from the same angle, but he's going to be overwhelmed anyway. So Villain does find the kill after we see Palf picking up a 1 frag there. But the guys from Worst Players are able to hold that off, mainly due to that aggressive play up middle that we saw at the beginning of the round.
Yeah, big plays from Arch. He's really been the only player I can specifically name where I think, okay, he's done quite a bit in this game so far. Other than that, it seems Simple, obviously, with a couple of plays. The 5-7 one was a nice one, almost managing the clutch in the last round, but Arch there, big play to take things to the opposition, but whatever happens here, GODSENT 11 rounds on that T side. They're going to be very happy with how this has gone.
Possibly the 12th if they can pick this one up for themselves. The Worst Players still able to get themselves with a good buy now coming off of that victory. And same thing for GODSENT, of course. But it's all about how GODSENT want to approach this strategically. And the Worst Players, I think they're starting to get a little bit more aggressive here now. They want to experiment a bit more. Now they basically have nothing to lose when you consider the current scoreline. If they can make this 11-4, it's going to be great. So they've decided to play this a little bit more aggressively in hopes of catching the players from GODSENT off guard, since it worked so well for Arch in the last round.
Well, it actually looks like Arch is playing a little bit of a bait play here by just holding so close. The AWP still on Twist. Simple has one back in his hands as well, picked up from the last round. So they do have their full buy back in hand. They've got quite a few nades as well. So this is probably the best buy they've had in the whole half. They have been forcing quite often. Look at all the AKs currently in the spawn as well. So they clearly have a huge amount of cash over on the T side. Up close, Fix. Really, all we need here is Arch to just bait out those shots, and then he can turn around and find the kill, and that is the aim here. You can see him just edging backwards and forwards. The nades are getting ready to step up. He has to be careful, and he's already, you can see he's checking that Palace position, because there is, of course, a player up there, and it is Schneider, who's been phenomenal so far this game. You can just see Fix in the corner. Lovely little camera angle there, and well, this is going to be it. He's actually going to peek out here, looking for the spray. This is the crossfire, and it works out perfectly. Arch takes down 2. Fix, he finds 1. Simple finds another, and the last round is a flawless round, but a little bit too late to start making plays like that.
The double stack back over by T-Ramp was indeed, as he said, it was flawless there. They absolutely shut it down. They're not even expecting the second player. It doesn't even end up being the bait play that you described. He doesn't even have to do that. It's just going to be Fix wrapped around the corner there that catches them completely off guard, and then Arch acts as like the double surprise as soon as he peeks out too. They're like, well, this isn't going to go very well. And this combined with the other players holding off their angles fairly well allows for a nice hold from worse players. But indeed, it does come in a little bit too late. So it'll be an 11-4 half for GODSENT as they hold a strong lead. 11-4, though, is definitely not the end of the world, despite the fact that it's 11 T-sided rounds over on Mirage. As we get into the second half here now, if worse players pick up the pistol and they don't get eco'd in the second round, and they can still bounce back very quickly.
Yeah, they are a very momentum-based teams. We've seen teams like Flipside already in this tournament be able to fight back from huge deficits. This isn't anywhere near the worst deficit we've seen so far, so they do have themselves a chance, but they need to get off to that good start. We've got the utility on Twist at the moment. Crush, the same on the opposing side. And the remaining players, well, actually, Simple has been dropped to P250, so a mini raid boss going to be coming in onto that T side. And while he is obviously the choice of player you'd go for in this scenario, we are going to see the smoke going over onto the short position to block off anybody coming in on the rotation. But already there's 2 players on the site. One going to be pushing through, and Lecro with the headshots goes big. Crush going to find 1 in return, so it isn't over as of yet. And this is actually a fake play. We're going to see the push coming in onto the A site.
Powell being just rushed in there by Fix. He'll take him down. Thankfully, Pronex is around the corner. Pronex and Twist going to be able to find 2 more kills. But Simple picking up an additional 1. He's now left alone as the final player. Gonna have to go with the 3K if he wants to clutch out this pistol. Not gonna give himself away at all, but he is trapped in a corner. He's placed himself there, back over by Firebox. Thinks he can hold this off. It's his Alamo, looking for the first kill. Not gonna find it, but there we go. There's the connection on the Lecro. Now we just gotta finish off Pronax. Pronax gonna try to get this as up close as possible. Looking for the USP tap away here. Not gonna be able to find it, but there we go. Finds the headshot, taking down Simple. It's gonna be a bit close in the timer, but he should have plenty of it to be able to defuse the bomb and give themselves another pistol victory here to keep the lead going for GODSENT.
And who said Pronax can't frag? There we go. Clutch Meister Pronax winning out the round for his team, not allowing Simple to finish that one off. And, well, missing a few shots there. Could have connected with the P250. Wasn't quite able to finish things, and that was a huge round. Now, well, they've got to go. They've got to force this, surely. Are they going to? No, they're just going to go for the AKs. So this is going to be waiting to the 13th round. It's a plausible scenario, but it's going to be so difficult to fight back all the way. And we can already see 3 rifles coming in, a P90. No damage coming in as of yet. And, well, it's going to be all down to Fix. A couple of players are low, but nothing.
Yeah, that's a great way to describe this round. That's basically just wrecked the worst players right here.
Oh.
Fix is going to find a deagle on the floor, but he needs some impressive shooting without armor, especially with his position to be able to find anything with that, and it's not going to be the case. Schneider and Twist clean up shop on round number 17, and here we go. This is the worst players. This is one of their last gambits. They'll be able to buy up here, and they'll have 1 more buy round should GODSENT win this up on the match point. But if they cannot take it here, then this is going to be an extremely rough comeback road for the worst players to crawl through. And they might just have to start focusing on map number 2.
Yeah, we may not even see the ult come in on that T side. And, well, I don't want to say it, but Simple, he's been decent. He hasn't been God mode. He hasn't been the mode that we need to see if they're going to be able to take this series. Well, he needs to be God Simple, ironically, but we're going to see this straight up push coming in from the Ts. Actually, all the CT players, there's 2 CT players behind them here, so this could be horrible if they're not careful. They need to check the back positions. They need to fall back here. They're not going to expect players to be this far behind. And already, Schneider, he's going to miss the shot, though. Phelan quickly turns around and takes that kill. A big kill in the round. Pav coming in from behind as well. I don't know why he didn't go aggressive earlier, because now it's almost expected that someone will come in with the flank. Simple going to take him down, and a little bit of a disjointed retake so far from the CT side, not going in together, not taking this as a team, and they are, well, by the looks of it, just going to fall back.
Yeah, there's no reason to. They don't really have any angles to work with. The other three are just stuck back over here by Connector and Jungle, so they've got no real path to get back into the site. The only person that even really has utility is Pronax. So with Rifle still in hand on three of those guys, they're going to fall away from this one. The only guns they actually end up losing here is that P90 and I believe the UMP. So they didn't actually lose a whole load of guns. The big problem though is the fact that obviously they're going to be dropping the round, and now they're going to have to try and spread the money around a little bit to be able to buy the next one. But they should still be in good shape, and they've got that huge round share cushion that obviously they're not going to have to worry about anytime soon.
The really confusing there for me as well was that they did actually have two players in behind, but only one of them went aggressive. The other one stayed behind. So it was a bit confusing. There seemed to be a lack of team play there. And if they all pushed like from the forward positions and from the flank, they could have completely decimated the worst players, especially as they wouldn't have expected someone to be in behind that quickly. But anyway, we are going to go into the next round. We're going to be seeing a full buy coming out from both teams, although Galil and a FAMAS in play, so not completely ideal. No AWPs in play as of yet. GODSENT, they have such a lead at the moment, so it has to be around for the worst players if they're going to be continuing their comeback.
So the worst players sitting back now, taking their time after the beginning of the round goes in their direction. Getting some good, okay damage on the Pronax and Twist, nothing really substantial. But Arch works his way out towards middle very quickly and is going to move into the connector. It's smoked off in the direction of the A-bomb site, but the problem is they do have Pronax here. Also going to be in the way of these guys. Hiding himself on that wall. He won't be able to be spotted by these players pushing in through the connector right now, but the mollies come in and it's going to fall to Powell if the whole thing's can't find anyone. And Arch is also going to find another kill as he moves himself back over there towards Jungle, takes down Twist, and the defenses fall very quickly again, but there's Pronax with the first strike back, so maybe they'll still be able to pull out this retake.
Yeah, they've got some decent positional play, but they do actually seem to be all coming from the same angle, so after plant positions here from worst players, it should be relatively easy. They do have some nades, so they can force some players out of positions. Philip may get screwed over here as that is quite a popular Molotov spot, but actually going to be thrown onto the site instead, so all their players still safe, going to be holding their positions. The bomb planted in a decent position as well, but Lekro going to be walking in, finding the first of time, beginning to run out. If he can find Finland as well, though, he has a chance. Doing good work here. They're going to take down nobody else, though. Fix and Crush quickly finding the kills, and God Pronax not going to be in the place to find these, and that's going to be a cleanup from the remaining two.
So the worst players, they're holding on strong here now, picking up that round. It was looking good for Lekro to just fully retake that site all in his lonesome. But as soon as they get aggressive once again, it catches them off guard, especially that push back in from T-Ramp there. The worst players do manage to hold on to the site. And with that now, 6-13. Definitely still a bit of a road and a ladder, I guess you could call it, a climb up here to get themselves back to the game. But it gets a bit easier now. We have GODSENT on the eco.
Yeah, still got a few Deagles in play. No Schneider, Twist, very, very competent. Obviously, FPL player Lekro will be very good with those Deags. They always are. It's horrifying to watch as they just take heads. So still the chance for them to do damage. Of course, worst players, they haven't made a huge amount of economy yet, but Simple finding that first kill. If they can make this one nice and clean, they could be getting themselves a bit of bang. Simple going to be finding one more. He is stepping up a bit on that T side now. Of course, this is just a bit of an eco round playing up against players without any armor, so you expect them to take this one cleanly. Any real damage done here would be lovely, but Philin going to walk in. There we go, Twist finds one. Got a few more players. They should know where he is here, looking for Simple. Actually going to do a nice tag as well. Simple still holding the angle. Got to be careful there. He's down to just 11 HP. And Powell pushing in on the flank could find some nice damage, but there goes Twist. And Powell now the only player left alive. He's grabbed himself an AK, just looking to try and find those kills, but Arch finding a couple, making himself some cash, and that's going to be 4 players left.
He's also going to take that down, stacking up a bit of cash there at the end too. That's a nice dance.
Where's the worst players' flags?
He's got them moves, man. He's got them flag moves. That was
I can't compete. Smoke going out into middle. Very, very common smoke.
Oh.
And we're back. It's all good. It's all good. Seeing the push coming in towards that A site again. Smoke play going to be out, and we do have the AWP on Twist, and it finds the first kill. Powell up close could cause some real damage here as there's nobody pushing in from Palace, and that could be horrible for their position, but Arch with a nice headshot will finish him off. The smokes have come raining out. They are Possibly going to try and go for a boost here, but almost taking things a little bit too risky. Lekr are going to be finding one. This does leave it back into a 3 versus 4. Simple still standing with the AWP. Crush going to be finding one as well. Arch actually going very aggressive here, but Simple covers his behind, and Arch finds one more. And now it's all down to Twist with the AWP. And this is looking much, much better from worse players. And, well, Twist manages to survive just about.
Twist is not going to be able to do this 1v2, though. He's falling back. He wants to get the heck out of this site and save the AWP. 17 HP, no utility. He's got a kit and armor, but definitely want to be focusing on getting away from the action here now as the worst players. And it's all coming down to this T side again. These guys are, like, despite this huge disadvantage they start up this half on, they're going to be looking good. But Crush, that's a nice approach he's able to find to take down the AWP out of the hands of GODSENT. And they're basically going to have nothing going into the next round now because of that.
Big round from him as well. The headshot taken onto Palf really did save quite a few players. I think that came out from Arch as well. So they are stepping up on this T side. Obviously, this can be the case for teams who have a lot of very good individuals. Simple going to be back on the AWP. Deagles and a few other pistols. Upgraded pistols going to be in play for GODSENT, but they've gone from a very, very dominant position to one where there's only 5 rounds in it now. So already a bulk of the work done for worse players, but still the hardest stretch is to come.
And Arch moves his way down through the underpass now. The rest of the worst players taking easy control of top middle. Fix lines up a nice shot against Palf as he tries to get a little bit too aggressive there. And again, eliminating one more player from the side of GODSENT.
Trying to go for a bit of information play. Was a little bit unlucky with that push. Twist is in a decent position here, but I expect them, if they are going to go anywhere near that smoke, to flash through and check that angle. Crossfire actually is set up now with Pronax on very low HP holding from behind the close range Deagle. Already see the A split going to be coming in here, and they do not check the position initially. Going to be finding one. Twist will go down in return. Fix comes in and finds one more. Pronax very low on HP, still tapping away with that Deag, and Lekr going to find one and an AK here as well, but Simple going to take his head clean off, and now Pronax is going to get wrecked as well. Simple cleans things up.
It's getting a bit dodgy now as the worst players inch closer and closer to tying this back up now. It was a good half, a great half, you could say, on the first one for the members of GODSENT, but without solidifying that 12th round, they are not going to be anywhere close to having this map under their control as of yet. Heading into this next round, should be able to reinvest into the guns once more. And we do see it. Twist armed up with the AWP. 4 M4s coming on a Schneider, Pronax, Palf, and Lekr, but Pronax
just lost half his HP. Didn't want to go aggressive with his teammate, and this leaves Twist all alone. He will find one though, drops the bomb. He's got a little bit of support, but Simple will take down Schneider, and Simple finds another one. Pronax going to be finding the trade, but Arch will find that straight back, and they're now in a 3 versus 2 situation. Simple starting to wake up, and it's looking a bit scary now for GODSENT.
2v3 still in the picture here, and the worst players are split up a little bit. Lekr along with Palf, though, do have to split to either side as they didn't get a clear picture of where exactly the take was going to be coming into. They're starting to feel it now, and Lekr is going to see the nades coming out of the site, so they're going to have to call for that assistance from Palf. Good flashbang holds him back for a second, and that's a nice response kill that comes out from Lekr. He didn't even see those players coming back, and even finds a second kill before Simple trades him out. So it's going to be down to a 1v1. Palf quick in the site. Simple, I think he's realized he's here, though. Misses that up shot, and now we know Palf has the position of Simple. Simple's not going to be moving from here. 50 seconds left. This is not going to come down to the timer whatsoever, but Palf is just hanging back. He wants to run the clock down as much as possible. He can spot the rifle peeking out around the corner, trying to bait out another op shot, but Simple's more trained than that one. He's not going to be going for it. Waiting for him to wrap around the corner, and Simple slowly lining up this flank. Misses the peek from the other side, though, and Palf, he's just going to switch over to the Deagle, only for one shot, though. But now what he's missed is that Palf is repositioned to another part of the pillar. He's going to be shifting his way back, but Simple's just as mobile, keeping himself all over the site, but he missed Palf. Didn't think he had moved that far, and Palf is going to be able to find it. Not like this, Simple says, as he definitely screwed up big time there, losing the position of his opponent.
Yeah, Palf playing the mind games a little bit there, just baiting out positions, and ends up making his big move just at the last few seconds of that duel, and well, that move really did work out. And now, well, the CT side actually, they win the round, but their economy still isn't in a decent position. So if worse players can win this and then go on a little bit more of a streak, it isn't over as of yet. The Fat Lady is yet to be singing, so we'll see whether or not Simple can actually make some sort of play again, whether or not Fix can find some entries. He's been pretty quiet in this game so far.
Worst players holding back now. A little bit more trained about themselves in the way that they're going to try to play as aggressively, especially since that smoke is tossed out over there towards top middle. They're going to be a lot more cautious of there being an aggressive play from GODSENT. Again, though, it's not the case. It's all going to be a ruse. As in fact, GODSENT have gone for a fairly risky stack when you consider the current scoreline and the current economical situation for the CTs. 4 on the A bomb site, only really having Lekro to defend B, and with there being a B hit ink, and there's still no one shifting over from that A site. Granted, they haven't really been given a whole lot of info to suggest this, but still, you'd think since there's not a quick hit coming into the A bomb site that GODSENT would want to renegotiate some of these players closer to B, or at least towards the middle.
Yeah, they really are. They're just relying on the new player here. Lekro, he has gone big so far in a couple of rounds over towards the side. He really did make that round their own in the 3 versus 2, but here comes the push. The call is going to be coming in, and, well, he finds himself one, looking for a second. Great work from Lekro already, slowing down this push, and now the rotation can come in. He's done a huge amount of work already. The rotation still might not make it quite in time, although the bomb still hasn't gone down yet, so they are just going to slowly swarm towards this site. Already a player coming around on the flank as well. Schneider holding the cross, but Crush is going to take down Twist and bring this back into a 3 versus 3.
Cat angle's been dealt with. Now they're going to have to watch for Pronax as well, as he's still lurking his way in through the apartments, but he is taking his time. And mainly the market players are going to be out first now. Mauling to try and force a player outside, but there's Simple with the peek from the site. Tries to go for the jumping shot. You're not cold yet, Simple. Trying to hold back here now, but Pronax is going to go for the push, and Pronax overwhelms Simple. Good enough for trade coming out from Arch. It all falls into the hands of Schneider. He's got the up in hand too, which is going to make this retake extremely difficult to do, especially from the market positioning there. Running out of time. He's got a kid. He's got a single smoke, which he could use to get away from Arch, but with that missed flick, I think he's going to have to give this one up and hand over the round to the worst players.
Yeah, you could already see by his positioning, he was so aggressive. Second Pronax went down, he fell back into the market position. He knew that they were going to be taking that round, and unless he found a very quick kill, I think he was just going for exits either way. So in this scenario, I just feel like it's going to be a horrible round again, coming out from GODSENT.
Crowd filling here a little bit more, as you can see now that we are in the weekend. Things definitely getting better and better here at the Kiev Olympic Stadium. And for GODSENT,
a lot of CIS teams as well.
For GODSENT here, one of the few teams we have from Western Europe, things are getting worse and worse.
Yeah, it's going to be down to the Polish if they don't manage to get through this one. Although they have been very, very good so far. VP stepping up big yesterday to take down Hellraisers, and, well, Dobry have been phenomenal. Absolutely brilliant so far, taking down Na'Vi. Moving on yesterday as well. In what, a crazy fashion up against GODSENT, but here we go. Push going to be coming in onto the A side. They are up against pistols. Nice work from Pau. Pronex going to find one in the meantime with the Deke. They are doing damage, but it does look like Simple's just that rock fix. Actually did find 2 entry kills in this round, so much better from him. It is up against pistols. Lekro going with the D, going to find a tag. Actually going to take down Simple. Looking for another one. He does a huge amount of damage as well. Schneider with the AWP, the one player who does have a weapon. Miss spray coming out from Crush, but he takes the kill nonetheless. Very, very close round.
That was close. That was a bit tricky. Had that option to connect, it even had time to adjust for that too, but I think the nerves end up getting to him there, and Schneider will not be able to make that connection. Whereas players find another round, but it is getting extremely close to the wire. And this was that good play from Lekro too, where he picks up 2 kills. This is what we were a bit worried about, since it was a 4 stack from GODSENT. He did manage to rush his way a little bit too quickly back to the van position after finding that AK, so he's cut off.
They did lose that round though, so it was a big play from him, but the actual strategy itself didn't seem like it was a good one. Just going to be pistols coming in on this round. Twist will find the trade onto Crush, but it's still a 1-for-1. And in the meantime, they're just going back to this. It's sort of the old versus pro style of just, okay, this isn't broken. I'm not going to try and fix it. Let's just go away every single round. And Simple with 2 big kills. Nice stuff coming out from him. Twist going to find one. In return, he's actually picked himself up an AK and is able to do a little bit more damage in this round, but it's going to be huge. If they can take down Finland, he's already low on HP. Lekro playing from the connector position, it's going to be a very, very difficult retake.
And the bomb goes down. These final 2 trying to make as much of an impact as possible. Lekro looking for the shot on the deagle through, but ooh, Simple finding Lekro. He knew he was there. It was just all a matter of being able to spot him out there, and he was crouching down, but the timing doesn't end up working out for Lekro, so it's left into the hands of Twist. He'd have to ace this if he wants to clutch this out, but he's got an AK in hand, no armor. He might decide to fall back and save. Yep, no kit either. So he will be pulling away from this one. And now the worst players sit within 2 rounds of tying it up against the Swedes.
Yeah, getting this back closer and closer and closer. Was it a 12-3, 11-4?
11-4.
So very, very decent half coming in on the T side for GODSENT, but their CT side seems to be lacking. Either that or worse players chose this map for a very different reason to most other teams. Absolutely phenomenal from them so far, but this is it. They are on their way back. A lot of damage done there by Twist. That is something to mention. He only bought a Deagle into that round. Actually ends up picking up an AK, finding himself 3 kills overall. So great work coming out from him. But this will be it. This will be the full buy. He's back on the AWP. It is glass cannon this time, so no armor for him in this round. And, well, Simple has been great opposition for him so far, especially on the second half. This is a big round.
But the worst players going back to the usual positioning. Or apologies, GODSENT going back to the usual positioning here now. Nothing really being done aggressively at the beginning of the round. We do have a more aggressive push, I believe, coming out from Pronax back over there towards Cat. He's looking to stop any more mid-pressure, and he actually is going to be able to push himself pretty far forward, too. Moving past the smokes that were just tossed out by the T, so this might get caught off guard. Simple,
Nice
that's a great flashbang, too. He doesn't find the first kill, tries to transfer the spray onto the second one, but he's only going to be able to take down Crush. However, at the same time, Schneider, elsewhere on the map, took down Arch. So it's going to be a 2-for-1 trade at the end of the day.
Is this going to be another flip side heartbreak? They fight back so far, and then right near the end, they're not able to just continue their work. That was a great play coming out from Pronax there. Doesn't quite manage to take down both players, but he does a huge amount of damage. And that pop flash was absolutely perfect. There's been a lot of good flashbangs coming out in these games we've seen throughout the week so far.
Palf going to have to try and hold this off now. Over on the A-bomb site, pressure's starting to come in. Simple finds the first kill, but Palf not moving out as of yet. Molly's tossed down below. It's not going to find anybody. That's a good peek from Palf, but now he's going to watch out for the Palace push. Not going to be enough. Fix finds Palf, takes him down, and we're going to be in a 2-on-2. Again, it's up to GODSENT to wrap over from the B side and mid and find this retake.
2 versus 2. Schneider and Lekro, the 2 players who have been going big. Lekro been huge on the retake so far, and they're going to need him to do so again. Finding a nice amount of damage onto Fix. He's going to need the support soon, waiting for that smoke to fade away. They don't have a kit in hand at the moment. I wonder if there is one towards the floor at the moment, possibly on the side itself. Fillin taking a lot of damage through the box. He's going to get taken down, and now it's down to Fix. He's going to try and Molotov the bomb, but gets caught with a nade in his hand. Lekro again finds a kill on the retake. And, well, now we have that 15th round. Will it be the Liquid curse, although it's not quite as far gone?
Liquid?
Yeah, speaking of Liquid, perfect timing. Thank you, cameraman.
So one more round to go for GODSENT. But it is for quite a few of our teams. I mean, in the past few events, of the past few weeks, that 15th round, or actually that 16th round, has proved to be a somewhat daunting task to accomplish.
You think?
First it was Liquid again, back in the Assault Pro League. And then we had G2 suffering the same fate against Fnatic in the actual the playoff stage of the Pro League. And it happened the other day too.
Yeah.
Almost, with Navi and Flipside.
Leaving it right to the wire. Aggression coming out from Palf though. His head will be taken clean off by Fillin actually on the entry kill. Twist holding the cross at the moment, but the smokes will be raining in. Nade not quite going to reach. They should be able to get this bomb down, and Fillin here is just looking through the smoke. The Molly
it's going to force them all out, and the smokes are fading here too now. They're going to start to move away, but thankfully it still covers most of GODSENT's players. All of them though, look at them. They're going to have to just fall back inside of the jungle. Some great damage has been done to the members of War's players, but without GODSENT having any control for this retake, they might have just won the round off of that, but that's going to be a good shot from Twist. Moving in now, starting to battle back for a little bit of ground here. Simple, trying to line up that shot against Lekro, but the flashbang again is going to connect fully onto 3 of the players from War's players. They've got to watch inside of Sandwich. Those Arches sitting there waiting for a Fix. Drops one from the T-Rap, but Pronax responds. Lekro going to find a second. They're trying to push in quickly. They haven't found Fillin though. He's going to be able to sneak in. He picks up 2 on Lekro and Pronax. It's all on Twist now, but he has no position. He's got to run away, and it's going to be a 13th round for the War's players.
Absolutely massive round from Fillin. He does get taken down in the end, but he finds 3 kills. Also, that Molotov was absolutely beautiful. Just throws it into the corner, forces down, well, 3 players out of position and slows down the retake by, well, even just 5 or 6 seconds, but that's massive when the bomb is ticking away. So great stuff coming out from him. They bring themselves back, and now this is getting so close. I'm almost smelling overtime on the horizon.
It is going to be very possible indeed. Now as we get into one of our final rounds, we can see the replay coming out right now here too from the actual action within the round. This is after that Molotov had happened, but we don't have time to watch it anymore as we're getting right into the next round. As we can see, Schneider catches one of them off guard, picking up a MAC-10, but he's not going to be able to find any additional frags. Fix up on top of the van, just goes off. 3 kills already for him, and just Pronax left alive for GODSENT.
The entry king. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. Walks in, takes down pretty much everyone, and now it's down to Pronax. A couple of players are low. Bullet to the head would do the trick, but he's not going to find it. 3 players survive, and well, there was the AWP onto Schneider, but Twist even, sorry, but it only managed to find 1 kill, and that was all. So great work again. Can they do it? This is it. This is
Final
crunch
round.
time. This is crunch time. We did see the save coming out from GODSENT, so they are going in this round, but Powerful only going to be with a 5-7. However, close range, that weapon can be deadly. We've already seen some work coming out from Simple with that exact weapon. Push going to be coming up mid.
They spot it coming though. Crush, he's going to fall back and try to hide in the corner, hide his head as much as possible, but it's not going to work. Prodax picks it up. Thankfully though, there was no one else from worse players here. They're all focused on an A hit, and it's getting pretty successful because of how much of a focus GODSENT had placed over towards middle. They get it, and they basically get it for free, which means it's up to GODSENT to pull off a retake, which they, I mean, to be completely honest, they've just been absolutely dreadful at that in this half.
It's been Lecro alone on most of the retakes. Any retake they've won have been mainly down to him. However, Phelan going to be going very, very aggressive. It has to be careful. They don't have the man advantage, but they may not expect this. 2 players currently in the corner just waiting for the push. They've got to go round here, and Fix, he's going to find one. Actually, it's Phelan. Fix in the corner, though. Not going to check. Schneider going to take 1 and 2. Big plays from him. Another one from Pronax, and this could be the first successful retake. It's all down to Arch. Going to be looking, going to find himself 2. He's got 2 more to find. Going to be going for the defuse, and Pronax is going to end this. It's happened again. A huge comeback coming out, but it is not enough, and a Ukrainian team falls at the final hurdle, and that is going to be 16-14 on map number 1. What a first map.